people that don't understand, a foreclosure is a process that can go a long time. And from the time that first payment is missed to the time that the bank actually comes back and takes that house back, could be months, could be years. And we have that whole window now to come in and negotiate directly with the seller and potentially do a short sale. So I guess one of the things here that, in my experience in the past, which it sounds like isn't always true, if you want to negotiate a deal and there is equity in the house, does the bank make you list it for a certain amount of time before they're willing to entertain the short sale offer?
Absolutely not. That's another myth. Okay. Absolutely not. The way I do short sales and the way I teach others across the country is let's create the entire package first, from the bank's application form to the realtor documents that you would need to what I'm going to call here in this discussion the investor packet. Okay. That could be a whole hour session. Those 3 packets is about 40 pages. Nick, what I do is I teach you to take that to the bank first, upfront, foremost, and give the bank an offer to start with. Okay. Give them don't wait for the bank to call you up and say they're going to send a real estate agent out there to list the house for you and to determine the price. We do it, quote, backwards, and we send everything the bank already done in a package. And so we just need them to accept that value. They don't, quote, care how long it's been on the market. Here's why. The bank will do an appraisal. They will send their own person out there. They're a 600-pound gorilla. When I bought this house for $29,600 and I sold her for $275,000, the bank forced me to pay the $29,600 because they came out there with their own person and said that's what it was worth. Okay. And so when the bank sends out that appraiser and determines the value and you've got that offer at that value, the whole deal of, list it for 6 years, list it for 6 months, list it for 6 days is out the window. There's a thing called a variance that they can do to accept their own rules and say, well, why do we want to do that when we have the price we want, right? And so people don't understand that. And that's what I teach people how to do that. And so no, you don't have to, quote, list it and guess at it. And that's where the real estate agents, who are just doing it as a listing, not as an investor, make the mistake. They put it on the MLS with no buyer and they list it for the loan value. Okay. And then it sits there for 6 months because the loan value has nothing to do with a buyer's value of it. And so that just causes a huge problem. And they're just not trained right, on how to do that. So my generic answer would be no, there isn't a certain number of days you have to list it.